My kids are young, so it's awkward kind of talking about what's going on in this world right now. You know what I mean? So my question is to the panel: how do you discuss the hate in this country that's going on right now because they black? What are you saying to your kids about all that's happening in the world right now? And what are some things that we can do to affect change? Killer, you know I'm coming to you first, man, for these gems, bro.
Oh, I'm country. I do exactly what my grandfolk did. I tell them the truth.
What's
What's
that?
Right.
wrong with
Yes.
what's wrong with white folk? I don't know, but some of them racist. And if too many of them together, you just can't trust. Like, and what that meant was my grandparents from Eatonton, Georgia, Tuskegee, Alabama. It's not the people that hung the people that you had to be afraid of. It's the crowd that allowed it. And that's what we have to understand in talking to our children, that, you know, I was lucky in that I grew up in a city that was all black, top to bottom. So all my heroes and villains was black. If my granddaddy didn't like a politician, he was black. If my grandmother did like a politician, he was black. The good guy or the bad guy was black. So I got a chance to judge people by the content of their character because they already look like me. But outside that, my grandparents never allowed me to believe that Tuskegee was Atlanta or Tampa or Jacksonville or Savannah. Those were towns that had a lot of black people, but they operated differently. So, you know, my grandfather, when he gave me my first car, he said, don't drive to Douglasville and don't drive to Gwinnett. Now, 25 years later, Gwinnett County is the home of
those
the
are
Migos.
outskirts of Atlanta.
Yeah, those are places that are outside. That's what the Migos are from, Gwinnett. I got told don't drive there because it was just very plain and simple. They're going to pull your black ass over. They're going to lock you up. It's going to have nothing to do with the fact that you're a black boy. And I had to understand that was the way the world works. It wasn't our fault. It wasn't my responsibility well, it was my responsibility to understand it's what it was, but it wasn't my responsibility to try to fix white people. Like, so by the time I got 13 and started reading Baldwin and Malcolm and Elijah Muhammad and Marcus, what I was a fully confident black child being reinforced with confidence by the stuff I was reading, but it was only because I was raised by confident black people. And the confident black people I was raised by allowed me to understand that racism existed, that there were some people who simply were ignorant and didn't like you because of what you look like, but they also helped me understand that disease I had no responsibility for. What I had to be at all times was the best black child because that's what made them proud I could be. And that was it. But they never hid the truth from me. They never hid violence.
Right.
They never hid hatred. They simply explained to me. Now, as a family, we didn't go to Stone Mountain. If I went to Stone Mountain, it was because the school took a trip. But my granddad told me, I'm not going to go sit under them crackers. That was just his thing. He wasn't going to go sit under a Confederate memorial. We didn't stop at certain places on the road when we traveled. We would only stop at state rest stops. If it was named for Robert E. Lee, we probably wouldn't stop. So he had a quiet determination to make sure that we never bowed our head to white supremacy. And I would advise blacks who are outside of the South to spend more time in places like Atlanta or Tampa or Charlotte or Columbia, because what it allows you to do is be in an environment where people are used to seeing you empowered. I would not want to raise, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but as a Southerner, I would be afraid to raise my child certain places like New York's or LA's because they truly are a minority there, and I wonder what it does to their confidence. I was lucky.
I definitely see the difference.
I was lucky in that I was raised in the South by confident people.
I can speak on
Yeah, I'm curious, Fuzzy, what you got to say weighing in on that, being on the West Coast.
No, I definitely see the difference between, you know, going from LA to Atlanta, but even having that conversation with my daughter when the riots were going on, I asked her, I said, do you feel like you want to go out and protest? And, you know, how do you feel about it? We had a conversation, but my thing was, you know, as a parent, you'd be like, all right, if you do go protest, I want you to be safe. And, you know, it's my daughter, she's 18. You don't want her to get confused and be in crossfires with the agitators because, you know, that was a whole different thing going on with the protest, right? But we did have a conversation, and you know, she's old enough to make a decision. You know, I'm glad she stayed her ass in the house, but if she wanted to express herself to protest, she could have. But, you know, she's an artist too, so she can draw and express herself that way also. So, but like, I do see the difference between LA and Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like a lot of black owned
the funny thing
out
is,
there in Atlanta.
Living in both, it's a clear difference. Like my son was raised, like he was born in Atlanta. He spent a lot of time in LA and came to live with me for high school in Atlanta. And it like, I think it might have worked for him because he got a lot of culture. But then when he came to Atlanta, when he could understand it, he went to a private school where the white kids were really white. and they acted it, and he had to adjust, and it put him in a position where he stood up, because we had the conversations about why, and it was the conversations of, ultimately these people have money that they don't even know about. Like, don't think that you can get away with the things that they're getting away with. Like they're buying wings, they're buying wings of that place so that kid can stay in there and snort cocaine. Like, so, but he got to see it up close, and it helped him, maneuver. And even with my daughters, it's about being honest with them, understanding that they don't have to be embarrassed by anything about them. Like, because I think even on this call, we think about, we have different family units, right? Like, I don't think anybody on here has the standard wife and the kids in the house, right? So we have to be that much more confident that, okay, yeah, I'm your dad. I might not live there, I might not be there every day, but I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna make sure I'm present, like, period. And then don't, if mom has a boyfriend, I've been married a couple times, like, don't be embarrassed by what I do. Like, you just handle you, and that'll take you through all of this shit. Like, even with the racism and the things that are dumb, don't deal in them. Keep it moving based on the things that you need to get done. And also, and that kind of helps them kind of maneuver, because it's like, oh, that's just white noise at that point.